Standard greeting, YouTube viewer, and welcome back to another episode of Do the Thing. This time we're going to do the thing with the Rise of the Beasts Wheeljack from the Jungle 3-pack, aka Pablo, aka Elton John, aka Steve Urkel, lots of names. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove the weapon, and I'm actually just going to keep it out of the rest of this. I did that little tip video how I stored in vehicle mode, so you know, just do that and then take it out when you're going back. First things first, to start transforming Mr. Pablo here, I'm going to go ahead and straighten his head out, and we are going to shift the back up. There is a slider where this plugs in, so we'll go ahead and push it up, and then you can see that slider in there. Very nice slider. Now, I've seen a couple of people doing reviews where they've had issues getting this over his head. So what you want to do with his head is make it face as far up as you can. Let me go ahead and raise this slightly, and then go ahead and lift the chest pieces up a little bit, fold the suspenders down, and then close these off to form the front of the vehicle. Disconnect the front from the waist. You do have a slot here and a tab right here. Stop focusing on the suspenders. Let's go ahead and extend this and get them out of the way so it'll focus on what we want. And then with the head tilted up, you can clear that without scraping the paint on the top of his head. And if you do scrape something, it might be on the side of the glasses, but you just move that over his head. Ta-da. And then what I like to do is I like to accordion. Whoa, that was a lot of glare off of that pin. I like to accordion the arms in, like so, both sides, and then we'll go ahead and rotate the shoulders up into place, so that way they're sitting like this. Now we can bring him down. Go ahead and fold the doors in, and then as you're folding them the last little bit in, you're going to want to also fold them back. And then you do have a tab here, this tab on the kind of cream plastic that goes into a slot on the door. That's what it looks like. So you go ahead and line those up, get out of the way, bottom half, and there you go. Then we'll go ahead and do that on the other side. There. And then you basically have the whole driving cab section of the van done. And that's all of his torso, basically, in this little spot with the arms hanging out. So yeah, it turns into a nice little chunk. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take these tabs or panels, and we're going to fold them open. There's just a little tab, a couple of tabs and things that will close up in there. And so we're going to undo those, then fold the knee down, and this is all going to line up like a neat little puzzle together. There is a little tab here that you want this to be in front of. It doesn't really help it from folding in, but it suggests that it does. And we'll go ahead and straighten the foot out, and we'll use the ball joint in the hinge here to angle it down and line it up with the rest of this roof detail there. So let's go ahead. I'm going to straighten out my thighs now, make sure they're kind of straight on the other side. Do the same thing, fold that up, fold up the foot, and then we're going to rotate the hips so that way this is facing down and it's between the tires, so that way we can rotate these panels around. I find it's easier to rotate them to the inside, so we'll rotate them around like so. And then you've got a ball joint and a hinge kind of like the feet that we're going to fold these down on, and like another nice little puzzle piece. There goes that. They're going to fold into place right there on both sides. And there we go. And then you've got a tab and a slot here and various tabs and slots, and you're just going to connect and plug everything together, give it all a nice squeeze, and then we're going to take these armatures here and use them to angle the feet underneath, push them in and they will snap into place like so. Then you just want to kind of angle this back a little bit. You want a little bit of a gap in here, and you want to make sure these suspenders, they have folded themselves in. They always do, and I usually forget to pull them out because if they aren't out, the hands are going to run into them. So you've got a big old tab and a big old slot, so we're going to plug those two together like that on both sides. And then you've got a little tab here that's going to sit behind the arm panel, nice and squeeze together. Everything's going to sit nice. And then you've got these little tiny tabs on the forearms there, and there's a little slot on the front of that suspender, and they're just going to kind of line up and sit in there nice and securely plugged in, kind of, sort of. And there you have him in his vehicle mode. We'll give him a rotation on my super advanced hover turntable here. So advanced, so advanced. And then we'll go ahead and do the thing again, but backwards this time. So we're going to fold out the suspenders, go ahead and angle this back a little bit, and then pull the arms out, tab the slots, unplug them like so. Now I found, and your mileage may vary, but I found that pulling the feet out takes significant effort, and I feel like something's going to break. I did mention this in my little tip video, so if you saw it, you know what I'm going for. But down there in the slot, in the track there, you can see that the feet are almost touching. If you use your thumbs to push out and separate them a little bit, like so, you've got a gap in there now, and you pull them. Look how easy that was, no effort. And you put them back in, and you gotta pull them out. It's a lot of effort, but you just split, and that's that. They come right out. So there you go. Then we can just start pulling apart the legs at the various points. Go ahead and fold these panels up, and my goal here is to get the stick all the way back here against this. So you want to make sure it's all the way back there, sitting in there, because that's where you're going to want it to be in robot mode. Go ahead and rotate these around. I find that rotating them to the inside works better for me. And then you've got a big old tab here and a little slot. So hard on this material. You see this slot right here. You're going to kind of plug them together, but it's more of a suggestion than anything else. So we'll go ahead and do that on both sides. Then we can come to the feet and push them back, kind of get them the gap, have the top of the foot and the bottom of the leg parallel-ish. That's kind of what I do. And then we'll go ahead and fold the knee down, fold the panel up, and you've got this tab that goes between these slots here. So we can go ahead and fold that down. And that is our waist. We'll go ahead and make it look like a proper waist, and these are just going to flop around and usually end up like that. So they are slightly irritating when they're not secured in. For this upper part here, first we're going to take the doors and untab them from the shoulders here. I'm trying to get a good angle on that, but it wants to focus on his lower half. Come on, focus on the doors. Just pop those out, both sides, and then as you're pulling the door out, it's going to start angling up. So you want to angle it up and flat and back as far as it'll go. Excuse me. And then go ahead and I fold them up. Go ahead to the other door, do the same thing, fold it up, and then we can take the shoulders and rotate this part right here down on that ball joint, so you can see the difference here. This is rotated down 90 degrees on both sides, and that'll give you the clearance from the shoulder and the front of the vehicle. Let me go ahead and raise this up a little, guys. It'll give you the clearance to just rotate these out, and they will thoop into place in the back. Then we can go ahead, and what I like to do is start rotating this down a little, and at this point get your finger under here and fold the front up all the way as far as it'll go. so we don't have to try and do that after it's plugged into the torso. Crotch area, go ahead and fold that down. Accordion these armatures up, fold out your suspender straps, and then you've got the big old tab that plugs into the big old slot. So go ahead and plug them together. Position these into place. They just kind of wrap around the front of the bumper naturally, and then fold these down and they will sit into the same slots that the arms did. Fold the head down, and then you've got the big old slider in the backpack, and we're just gonna choop it down. And there you have Wheeljack back in his robot mode. We can go ahead and get his gun back in his hand, and there we have done the thing with Wheeljack. We'll go ahead and give you a 360 on my super sophisticated non-hovering turntable. So advanced, so advanced. And that's pretty much it for the Do the Thing this time. If you guys liked it, go ahead and give it a like. If you found it useful, give it a like. If you want to see more stuff, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.